Hi guys, welcome back to Succulents in the City. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I want to talk to you about probably my prize in my whole plant collection. And it's this guy right here. This is an Echeveria. I think it might be Echeveria Serrana. I know I'm going to tell you the story about this plant, and then I'll tell you why I don't really know what it is. So last year on July the 4th, I was dating some guy from the dating app, and he took me away for the weekend. So one of the restaurants that we were eating at, it had a centerpiece with this guy in it. I took one leaf. I didn't take the whole thing. I didn't destroy the centerpiece. I took one leaf. Anyway, I took the leaf home, and it's a year later. Today is July the 17th. This is 1 year. This thing is happy being a New Yorker, this guy. So if it's not Echeveria Serrana, my next guess would be perhaps it would be the Black Knight. Why do I think it could be a Black Knight? It's not black, it's green. Because I have this plant growing in an eastern facing window. So it's not the southern exposure. It's not really full sun. It's mostly morning sun with the eastern exposure. And whatever it is, I don't care what it is. I'm just actually very, very happy to have it. And I'm happy, I will say this plant is thriving. Whether it's up to its full stress colors or not, this plant looks very, very happy to me. Look at all these heads from one leaf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, there's a whole bunch. And then look at all of them. Look, I love it. I love it. Look how happy. Happy. This is so happy. See, you could have ended up in the garbage in the centerpiece. I think he knows that. I think he knows. That's why he's rewarding me with all this beauty. You know, I know some people, they're very picky and they want to know like the species and the subspecies and the blah, blah, blah. Everybody grows plants for a different reason. I just want a nice, good looking house plant that's going to, make me happy, make the cats happy, another living thing. Look at this. This was from one leaf. It even flowered, and now it's growing a baby from the flower stalk. I planted like the dying flower stalk. I threw it. When I get to this plant, we'll have a look at it, see if it's still there. I have a jade plant, the Gollum jade. Anyway, it's a very old plant. So he's in a big pot. And basically, if there's something that I want to see if it roots, I'm not too concerned with it. I just throw it in there. And I've thrown a lot of leaves of this in there, and they've been growing. But this, I'm very, very proud of this. Now, as you can see, this guy is growing in a self-watering African violet pot. This does not have a hole. I know this is like against all logic for most cactus growers and succulent growers. And the truth is, it is for me too, but this one seems to like a little bit more water. Now, I say this because keep this in mind. I'm growing this plant under a certain set of circumstances. The circumstances and the environment that you grow your plants in will change depending on where you are. Is it outside? Maybe if you have the same one, you'll learn something from it, how to take care of it a little better, or maybe it'll inspire you to go out and get one, because it's really wonderful to have plants. And succulent plants are very forgiving unless you overwater them. So I do keep a little bit of water in here. When I was using this for African violets, I noticed that this particular pot is not great at the self-watering thing. So what I do when I want to give it an extra drink is that I'll water it, and then I'll kind of put my hand over it and tip it so all the extra water runs off. And I'll do that a couple times. I'll wait, and then I'll do that. It's a little bit of a project unless you really know, what you're doing and you have the time to invest in it. I don't suggest doing that. But for this particular individual, it's working out. So this guy is, when I took the one leaf home, I didn't know if it was going to turn into this gorgeous plant. I think I potted it in orchid mix because that's all I had. I think it looks like there was probably a little bit of perlite in there too. I see some perlite. I don't want to disturb him. But yeah, you see the perlite? Yeah, so it looks like it's an orchid mix in perlite because that's what I had. During the pandemic, I was growing a lot of orchids, but then when I went back to work, they just needed too much care, and most of them unfortunately died. But so this guy is happy in his self-watering African violet pot with the orchid mix with perlite. What I did notice is that with this pot, because I do have another one, and I have an Ionium in the other one. Now, Ioniums, we'll talk about this when we get to that plant. Ioniums are summer dormant, but you have to give them a little bit of water. So something like this is good for plants that go dormant but don't need complete dryness. So this would not be good for like a lithops. If I had a lithops in there, I wish I would never put a lithops in there because I'm scared of those and they need a hole on the bottom. But this guy, knock on wood, this is really the prize of my collection because I was here literally when he was just a leaf. I don't know which is the original rosette, probably this one because it was the biggest. But last year I got flowers and everything. But so this, if you know what this is, if I'm wrong, if it's not Echeveria Serrana, or if it's not just the full colors of an Echeveria Black Knight, please let me know what this is because I love it. This plant actually inspired me to buy a few more Echeverias. I got a couple from the Home Depot. I think one or two from maybe one from Trader Joe's. Yeah, impulse purchases. I like my impulse purchases. But I did order several from Mountain Crest Gardens. I'm not ready to talk about those yet because I haven't had them long enough. So I could say, okay, I did this and it was successful. This one I've had long enough so I could say, okay, I did this and it was wonderful. So yes, I took home a leaf from a centerpiece and I planted it. I put a little rooting hormone on the tip and I stuck it in orchid soil with orchid mix with some perlite, and a year later, look at what I got. So what a beautiful plant. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. See you next time.